So we're going to be talking about stabilizers. This is a follow-on from the video I made the other day showing you how to download your files from your commercial site and then expand them into where you want to keep the files, and then transferring them onto a USB stick to be able to put into the side of your embroidery machine. So if you've missed that, go back and have a look and see, because there's a nice video all about that. But now, moving on, we're talking about stabilizers. This is the next step, because whenever you embroider anything inside your hoop, you are going to have to hoop up some sort of stabilizer, and there are several types. Let's start with Cutaway Stabilizer, which has a feeling, tearaway cutaway, yeah, which has a feeling more like paper. Just trying to, yeah. This one, I put these are little cyclist armbands, but they're little metallic armbands that I use to keep mine all nicely wrapped up. This one is very much, can you see if I fold it? Whoop, very much like paper. Yeah? Now, can you tear it? Not really. So, this is a case of when you finish your design, oops, you would then cut around the outside of your stitching afterwards. Alright, so that's a cutaway, and then this would stay with your embroidery on the top, on the back of your garment. So that's quite thick, hard, stiff cutaway. Let me just roll that back up. Whoops, and plop this little band on it to stop it unrolling. Then this is another version, but as you can already see, I hope, it's more transparent. It's much lighter weight. Okay, can you tear it? Yes. This one, when you've got your stitches in, you could tear away from the outside of your pattern, or indeed in the same manner, cut away. Yeah, so those are tearaway cutaways, and that's a much lighter feel to it. It still feels a bit like paper. That's my husband coming. Very much like paper still, but much thinner. I'll just, oops. Snap that back on. Oop. Hello. Now, the third type is a cutaway again, and this is the one that I use an awful lot of the time. This is just two sizes, because the bigger your hoop goes, the bigger you're going to want it. So let's just use the little one for now. And this, as you can you see, it's very fabric-like, and it's called a mesh stabilizer. Yeah, it's strong as you like, but it's much more like fabric. And this one, again, you would use as, you can't tear it, you would have to use it as a cutaway if you like. But if I can just say to you that in most cases, if I can just find something out I made using it. In most cases, yeah, here's one. Here's a little baby's dummy bottle. So you see that I've already trimmed this to the size of my square that I want to use. But here is the no-show mesh on the back, and I will just trim it. And instead of going all around and then making a difference to maybe it showing through the front, I just leave it. I just leave it on there. So when I sew these squares together to make up the quilt, That's just the backing. That's just stays exactly as it is, and it makes no difference to the hand or the material whatsoever. So this is why I like to use no-show mesh. Now, if you were, I've got a couple of other things to show you. Right, I think this is the right one, because it does look very much like the no-show mesh, but this is actually water soluble. You've got a couple of water solubles. This is like a plastic water soluble, see? And that I would use over the top of something like terry toweling, so that I keep a definition of stitches and my embroidery doesn't get buried in the terry toweling. And then using a little bit of water, this will just dissipate to nothing. Yeah, and this is the same, but I would use this on the back of something. If I was, or when I had something in the hoop, say I was making a little coaster, I would use this, and then you can go around the edges with a paintbrush with water, and it will just disappear. So if I just, so I test which one I got, if I just take a lick, well, put a little corner of this in my mouth, yeah, and get it wet, see, it literally melts. So that's, this brand is Punch Obegon from Amazon. But you can get, but it's fabric like, cloth like, water soluble stabilizer for when you don't want to see the edges of anything. But it's not good enough to use on every project, because that stabilizer holds your stitches to your t-shirt or to your garment, where you would want something like the no-show mesh. This is for something where you want the edges to not be shown through your finishing stitches. So that's too tight. Oh, there is, I got another one here. And this is an cut and iron away. I don't use it very often, but there's certain things that you want to use it for. And this is, you can see, look, it's very, very harsh, like polythene. And then this one, after you've finished your stitching, you use an iron and it melts away. So there are quite a few. Oh, it's always the way in it. I'm never going to get that back in there now when I got the camera going. So put that to one side. What's the last thing? Oh yes, the last thing I have in my armour of different stabilizers for I'm not even opened this one yet. Armoury for different stabilizers for my embroidery is this one. Is Super Punch again. I quite like the brand. It's from Amazon, and this is called Cloud Cover. And I'll just open it and show it to you. All right. Now this. Whoops. Trying to get into it. Right. I won't undo it all, but if I can show you, this is the nice side, yeah? The other side is slightly stitchy. It's got a glue on it, and it's stretchy, so it'll give with the fabric. So if you've done a lovely embroidery on a child's bib, or no, a child's t-shirt or onesie, something like that, or your own t-shirt even, and you didn't want that scratchy effect from the back of the embroidery, you would cut a piece of this the size to cover your embroidery on the inside of the material of your embroidery, and iron it on, because that's what the glue is for. Iron it on, and then this would cover up. And well, it wouldn't cover. I mean, you'd still be able to see through it because it's quite translucent. But it would stop. Feels very, very soft, and it stops any scratchiness from the embroidery affecting the baby's skin or your skin. So that's called cloud cover, and that's what you would use for the inside of your embroidery once it's finished. If you found this video useful, then please subscribe and hit the little bell so that you get notified when my next video pops up. Thank you.